What's going on, guys? JP back at you once again, bringing you guys day number 7 in my 10th annual 31 Days of Horror, a series in which we watch and review 31 horror films in 31 days, all during the month of October, leading right up to Halloween, and continuing along with our Warner Archive releases. We have a film that I've been wanting to get to for a really long time, and that is Whatever Happened to Baby Jane from the year 1962. And this is a movie that I'd heard about for a really long time. It's considered a classic film in both like the horror world and just in cinema in general, especially from this era. It's pretty praised, and I've never seen it. I have seen the 1991 remake, which I actually liked a good bit, probably because the source material was so strong, honestly, and, watching it first. But this film here stars Bette Davis and Joan Crawford, both legendary Hollywood actresses from the era. Actually, the era before this, but, this is them in middle age. So, the story follows these two sisters, Baby Jane Hudson and Blanche Hudson. And they were actresses, child actresses. And as a child, Bette Davis's character, Baby Jane Hudson, was an incredibly popular child actress. What it kind of reminded me of was Shirley Temple, like that type of thing. I've never seen Shirley Temple, but I always remember there was this ad that would run on TV when I was a kid talking about Shirley Temple's like classic hits or whatever, and it would be like, get them now, and first time on VHS or DVD or something, or newly restored and all that. And I remember that's exactly what it might even be like well, I don't know when that even came out, so I don't know if it's the same thing or not, but this could be inspired by that, or that could be inspired by this. I don't know. But I will say that section of the movie right there, it's right at the beginning, like it really establishes very quickly like what this character is. Like, she was this massive child star. And her sister, Blanche Hudson, was not. She was not a massive star, and she wasn't really liked until time goes on and we get sort of an update. And when they become adults, Baby Jane Hudson falls out of style, while Blanche has this really successful career. And then we move forward to present day, where they're both sort of retired, and Blanche Hudson has been in an accident. Baby Jane Hudson essentially caused the car crash that paralyzed Blanche from the waist down, and now they both live together in this Hollywood mansion, and Baby Jane is pretty much crazy and has a lot of resentment towards Blanche. And as we're watching it, we see this sort of weird, situation, because it's like Baby Jane was the star, Blanche was the afterthought. Then Blanche was the star and Baby Jane was the afterthought. But there's a different level of resentment in Bette Davis's character because she once was the star. So it's not a situation where it's like the redheaded stepchild sibling. It's a situation where I had it all and I lost it all, and you had nothing and now you have it all. And I have to watch you have it all when I used to have it all. I love that dynamic there, because it adds a totally different level to the type of resentment that you get, the jealousy that's there. And Joan Crawford, you get the sense, was deserving of her success later in life, because she was sort of the redheaded stepchild of their child acting careers. And I'll say this, and that's kind of the plot, but you have Bette Davis, who wants to sort of relaunch her acting career, finds out that Joan Crawford's character, Blanche, is wanting to send Bette Davis to a hospital like a mental hospital because her instability, and uh, basically Jane Hudson begins to treat her sister really bad and sort of cuts off all connection to the outside, locks her in a room, starves her, feeds her a rat and stuff like that, and it gets really dark. So that's sort of the plot. Meanwhile, she's trying to relaunch her acting career. She's very delusional. In fact, like, even though Blanche was a big star too, both of them are past their prime and nobody really remembers them, even though Blanche was this massive star. But Baby Jane's time was even way before that. So it's like, you know, this sort of midlife crisis type thing, but to the maximum because they are, Betty Davis is like crazy. That's the plot. Man, I really love this movie. First of all, the level of actress here is just on a different level. Like these old Hollywood actresses from the golden age are just phenomenal. And Betty Davis, I think she was nominated for an Oscar for this film. She didn't win. There was from what I understand, she believes that Joan Crawford actually campaigned against her winning the Oscar. Apparently these two had a really big rivalry. I'm not super well versed in their filmographies, although I have seen a handful of titles from each of them, especially when I was watching a lot of older cinema before I got onto YouTube and stuff like that, years and years and years ago, like 10 plus years ago. But it makes me want to. Like, watching this film makes me want to dig into those films of the golden age of Hollywood. I just love the look and the style and that whole era of Hollywood. Like, I could kind of see, you know, when watching this film, just takes me back, you know, to watching old black and white movies on the TV on like a Sunday afternoon or something, you know, when I was a kid. I didn't even really know what was going on, like noir films and stuff like that. But anyway, I think that this movie is pretty incredible. The performances are really good. I think that by the time you get to the end, I think the end comes off a little tiny bit cheesy by today's standard, but I still think that the message there is interesting, and the message in general, and sort of this theme of losing fame and losing fortune and losing what you were known as, your identity, is heavily in this film. And also the theme of like child actors and actresses in general, retired actresses, you know, the world kind of forgets about you type thing that they got going on. I think that's all very interesting, and it's actually very relevant today, especially with like a lot of the Nickelodeon actresses that are coming out, and actors who were child stars, and sort of like the, you know, I guess results of all that in a different way, but it's still sort of relevant. Thought that was kind of interesting too. Anyway, that's Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. I think it's a pretty damn phenomenal movie, and I give it a 9 out of 10. So with that said, we'll see you guys tomorrow with another Warner Archive review. So until then, peace out.